Ladies and gentlemen, many of you might have heard by now Malcolm X's daughter, Malika, was found dead in her home in New York City, Brooklyn. And, this is really a tragedy altogether. Malika, I've seen his family, especially when Betty Shabazz was still living over the years. I would see them off and on the news periodically, or one of Malcolm's daughters would be a guest speaker somewhere, so I would see them periodically. And Malika is actually a twin. She didn't even get to meet her father because when he was gunned down in the Audubon ballroom, Betty Shabazz was only 2 months pregnant with her twin daughters, and one of them was Malika. So she and her twin sister were the only two that never ever got to see their father. And many of you might remember Malika. Malika actually went to jail because she was plotting to kill the minister Louis Farrakhan, that she felt he was partly responsible for the death of her father, Malcolm X. So, it is a tragedy that she didn't even get to speak to her father or touch her father or just even see him. So, Betty Shabazz gave birth to Malika and Malik, her sister, 7 months after the death of Malcolm X. And that was the only set of twins Betty Shabazz had. They had a total of six daughters. So Malika was 56 years old, discovered by her daughter. Her daughter's got to be in her 30s. I believe her daughter's in her 30s. Um, so she was discovered by her daughter inside of their Midwood residence at about 4:40 p.m. The sources said investigators do not suspect foul play. Sources said an autopsy will determine Shabazz's cause of death. NYPD Commissioner Dermot Shea said Tuesday that Shabazz had been ill for a period of time but did not elaborate. At this point in time, we are working with authorities, the medical examiner, and speaking to the family. She had been ill for a period of time, and at this point, nothing appears suspicious, she had told PIX 11. He added that cops were absolutely not looking for a suspect. I am deeply saddened by the death of Malikah Shabazz, Bernice King, daughter of Martin Luther King Jr., said in a post on Twitter. My heart goes out to her family, the descendants of Dr. Betty Shabazz and Malcolm X. Dr. Shabazz was pregnant with Malika and her twin sister, Malik, when brother Malcolm was assassinated. That's right. Malikah Shabazz and her twin sister are the youngest of six daughters of Malcolm X and his wife, Betty Shabazz. Now, I'm going to stop there only because when you get to the end of the article, now she was a troubled person and she had a couple of strokes with the law, but I don't want to focus on that about her. You know, the King family and Malcolm X's family went through so many tragedies. It's just mind blowing when you go back and reflect. You had Dr. Betty Shabazz, who had her home set on fire by her grandson, and she ended up dying from those injuries. That same grandson that set the Dr. Betty Shabazz's home on fire, he ended up getting thrown from a building to his death in Mexico. Some of you may remember that. And yes, Malika had some brushes with the law, you know, but she was turning her life around. And she also had a drug problem, and many people knew about that as well. But nobody has gone through so many tragedies like the King family and Malcolm X's family. And I think this was all, in fact, I know it was all done on purpose. I must have watched a couple of documentaries over the years, and just sitting there and watching Malcolm laying on that stage in the Audubon ballroom, and his children, the ones that were there, watched him get assassinated. But Malika, she wasn't quite born yet, so she did not see that happen to her father. But all the way around, it is just such a tragedy. She did not get to have her father, and I'm sure that would have made a big difference in her life. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. This is so sad. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.